Hello and welcome to another episode of FIFA eTalks, the home of football esports. Today, we're joined by two very special guests from the world of eFootball. Two guys who have many years experience both in playing the game, presenting the game, commentating on the game. So we're going to get a deep insight into the world of eFootball. We have over here Alejandro and we have Harry. How are we, guys?
Doing good, yeah, doing really good. It's a pleasure to be here. It's such an exciting event. So glad to be here.
And not every day you could be in places like this one, so really appreciate it for having us today.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good one. We're going to go take a deep dive into, I guess, their upbringing, how they kind of got into gaming or commentating, hosting, presenting. And then, of course, by the end of it, we'll go and do, as usual, some quick fire questions that you guys have sent in. So hopefully you guys can grab your popcorn, enjoy. I guess we've got to start straight away. Life growing up in Spain. Obviously, we are English guys, so it's a bit different for us. How was Spain growing up?
Well, lovely childhood, let's say, in the south of Spain, Granada, where, having a sport, the mountains, good weather, let's say. Gaming has been part of me since I was a kid, but it was one of those kids that their parents doesn't let him to have a console until the age of 12. And from that moment, man, it was like I will spend all the hours missing before in the console. But it is until I was 15 when I discovered eFootball competition, and since the moment I played my first local tournament in Malaga next to Granada, I figured out like this is my place, you know. And after I was grinding more, and then to national competition, international competition, world championship. Playing for football clubs, esports club, then football clubs, becoming pro, and realizing more than ever the dream to be pro gamer, and some experiences that you could never ever experience before.
My parents weren't really letting me play games 24/7, but I definitely didn't have to wait until 12. Harry, how was it for you? Did you get to like play games from early, or were you just one of them ones that you were about your books?
Pretty much. I've played since, I can remember. My dad started me on the PS2. Well, we had a PS1 at the time, and then he got a PS2. And I remember the day he came home with a PS2, I was just playing it over and over and over and over.
What was your first game?
That's a really good question. I think it would have been Gran Turismo. I think it was Gran Turismo 3. I was proper into racing games. Good game.
PlayStation 2, right?
Yes, yeah. PlayStation 2. But I remember then my older brother, I'm the youngest of three. Okay. The eldest, I should say, really wanted, he had an N64 already, and then he wanted a GameCube. So he went out for his birthday, got a GameCube, and then I remember playing like Star Fox Adventures. Like I was pretty much a casual gamer for a long time until I got my own console, started playing first-person shooters. Then I started getting good at them, got into esports, and then the rest is pretty much history. And was pretty much allowed to just play games 24/7 by my family.
It's got you this far in
exactly,
it, so it was a good decision. So were you always into football growing up as well, or?
Definitely was. I can remember one of my earliest gaming memories against my brother playing Pro Evolution Soccer 5. I don't know if you remember John Terry, Thierry on the cover facing each other. Sick game. And then obviously PES 6 came out with Adriano. Everyone remembers like Adriano. Some of my earliest memories was playing that game. I'm a Tottenham fan for my sins, so
I didn't have that one in my research.
I've been through the ringer throughout my life, but yeah, I've loved football from an early age. Love playing it and love playing the virtual game as well.
And Alejandro, yourself, obviously Spain, right now they're dominating football, it seems, in the Euros, in the Olympics. Were you playing football much growing up or no?
Yeah, it's honestly no surprises seeing me playing football games. My full life has been connected to sports, especially to football, since I was a kid playing in the regional clubs next to my home city, because it was the way to grow up, enjoying your passion. And obviously you had the dream to be professional footballer, but you know how difficult is that. So somehow with video games, we turn out that dream into reality, to becoming pro gamer. And in that long career that I had until now, and somehow, and those experiences grow up the person I am right now. So really proud to everything eSport gave to me, because from being, I repeat it, from the south of Spain, a really small village where you don't have those chances, let's say, to go worldwide, traveling, meeting people from every single country that have the same passion as you. So it's a really lovely experience that always will be in my back.
Yeah, we're gonna get into shortly about like the best achievements and best experiences, but I will get into more how you got there first and foremost. So for you, Harry, when did you, I guess, realize that maybe you can make somewhat of a career out of esports, or whether it be commentating, playing the game?
Was basically getting the reality check that I'm rubbish at actually competing. So I was a competitor, and to be fair, I was earning some prize money from tournaments. But it wasn't until one of my best friends, who was commentating at the time, saw me on a break. His co-commentator had also gone on a break or gone home early, I can't remember. And he said, "Hey, Harry, do you want to come and sit down? Sit down next to me, let's commentate a series." And I was like, okay, we'll talk some games, lend my voice to the game. And people really responded quite positively to it. Next event, they wanted me to do it again. Then the event after that, they were like, hey, we want to compensate you for it.
Sure.
And the amount was more than I was earning as a competitor. And obviously you still get to lend your knowledge to it, but the hours you're putting in maybe relaxes a little bit.
Sure.
And so for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer where I could still be involved in the competitive aspects and put across the emotions and the feelings of being far and deep into tournaments, but maybe having a bit more of a social life and getting more time to spend with friends and stuff. So yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. I think I've been doing it about 10 years now. So I was lucky enough to start doing it at 20 years old. I'm 30 now. So here's to many more years. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Were you working at the time when you decided, or was it like uni?
I was at uni. Yeah, I was at uni down in Southampton. So every event that was in the UK was so far away. We're talking like Birmingham, Manchester. I mean, I was down on the south coast, so like it was pretty much a struggle for me as a uni student, already broke, having to fork out for like hotel and travel. When you start commentating, it's all covered for you. Yeah, it was a bit of a no-brainer as a broke uni student to actually start earning a bit more money from the hours, and the social life as well. It definitely helps.
Yeah, makes sense. Obviously, for yourself, a bit of a different story. I'm more resonate with Harry in the sense that, again, growing up in England, maybe we were not as good to go professional, but we like the game and we speak about the game. But for you, when did you realize, wow, like, I'm really good at this game? Were you winning tournaments, or was it just online games? What was happening?
Well, even if I start early with 15 years old, I consider nowadays it was not that early, compared with the new generation.
Yeah. Now they're like 11 years old. They're already professional players.
That's it, and it's an advantage. It's an advantage in front of people that each time is starting and soon. And the thing is, like, I wasn't the biggest talent player in the environment or in the community, but the hard work is something every time on it, and I knew my goal was to be fighting with those idols that you had at that time. Well, with the passage of the time, 1-2 years after, you were competing with them, playing with them in the same team, and it was unbelievable. Somehow in 2015, I became a Spanish champion, and that offered you the chance to represent Spain in the World Championship, and probably was one of the poorest World Championships ever held. But for me, that was a wall.
That was the biggest. That was craziest one.
Because finally, I was competing with those ones. You were seen on the streaming, and at some point, you think they were untouchable. And then you realize, look at that. I'm really close.
I can hang with these guys.
Exactly. So that's why the momentum and the motivation to keep grinding yourself in the meantime you were finishing your studies is on 2017. After my second appearance in the World Finals, it went bad. But I realized and made that path with my parents, like, look, I did everything to make here, but I see all the players, which is our 24/7, trying, playing, and I think that's what I need. So I will bet everything on 2018, and we went into 2018 just focus on the game. We stopped the university for a while, for a year, for that moment, and we completely smashed it. The scenario of eFootball worldwide, winning almost all the competition, all the regionals, World Championship on 3v3, runner-up in 1-in-1. The one who beat me was my teammate. So overall, we were dominating that part. So yeah, that moment changed my life, because from that, it started the pro career, playing first for FC Barcelona, Bayern Munich for 3 years, ending last year with FC Barcelona. And obviously, when you are there, you can never ever think about that potential.
Yeah, you never think you'll reach to that level.
Representing those clubs, being part of it. Obviously, not at the level of the first team, but man, it's unbelievable.
So you mentioned your parents there. Were they always supporting you, or were they at first like, stay studying and then maybe we'll see about the games afterwards?
I have lucky that especially my dad is always into sport. He's riding motorcycles, practicing motocross, not at a high level because he has to be carry on the full family from always, so he cannot be dedicated that much into the sport. But somehow at my home we have opened the chances to practice sport at the highest level. My brothers are really good into sport. I was the lazy one. No?
Okay, so you were the one that was gaming and they were playing outside.
They are completely machines physically, and myself it's more chilling, no? Console, more relaxed. No?
I'll do mine on the TV. You guys go out.
Exactly, and somehow they respected that to me. But meantime, I was finishing my studies in the right time. So it was tough as everybody. At the beginning, when I was showing to them, playing a lot of hours initially on the first times, it was tough. But sometimes when finally those dedication went into qualifying for competition outside Spain or winning, like TVs, new console, somehow my setup at home is built with those goodies that you were winning on the competition. That was because I had no money to, for a new camera or for a new microphone or for a new monitor. I was lucky because at that time, those competitions, for the first position, a monitor's I'm going for it,
You take that.
It's funny.
Free monitor.
Every online meeting we have together before, any show we do, I just see in the background, he's got, ribbons, he's got trophies, he's got consoles. It's okay, that's a flex. That's a flex right there.
Because, we have to be honest. We are talking about the period of 2015, 2018. There was not that much money on that time on the line. Prize money.
Compared to now,
yeah. So right now, it's more focused into the prize money, and the lucky thing that I had that in the right moment where Konami put the esports scene of eFootball as a professional, I was one of the best. So that was I jumped in the right moment to the pro scene.
Fair. So Harry, similarly, I would like to know, because in my case, explaining to my parents what I do took quite some time for them to understand that one, what's even going on, and two, that you can make a living out of it. So how was it for you, I guess, leaving uni and then explaining to them, hey, I'm going to talk about games? How was that for you?
It's a really good question, because I'm still not 100% sure my extended family know exactly what it is that I do until I'm able to make those comparisons to match of the day.
Yeah.
It's like match of the day, but for video games.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to explain it. I actually kept it secret for quite a while.
Okay.
I know a lot of people that have about esports and stuff. And it wasn't until I was doing a show, I think in London, and I was coming back from there to my uni household, and we always used to go out for drinks on a Sunday night because everyone, it happened, had a Monday off in their schedule. So we would go for drinks on a Sunday night, but I came from the train station and I was just I said I was in London for work, but I never told anyone what it was.
What were you doing,
And then I was you know what? I felt like Batman, where I was keeping a secret identity, and I was you know
Montana with two different lives.
I prefer Batman.
Fair enough.
It's not the most manly example, but when I finally told them, they were oh, that's really cool. Hey, well, how long have you been doing this? They were really interested, and then it was you know what? It's becoming more normalised now, where competitive video games, especially with the big money tournaments that make the news, people like FIFA getting involved. It's it becomes more normalised, and I think especially when I have relatives with younger siblings and stuff, they are already into it because such a young audience watches esports. So it's becoming easier. But at first it was how am I going to explain this to my granddad and my auntie who has never even touched a video game console in her life. So it was definitely difficult at first.
I hear it. Listen, my parents will be sending clips back home and they're thinking I have no idea what's going on, but they'll reshare it and they have no idea what they're looking at. They just support it. So fair. But obviously you've been doing this for many, many years now. So I guess one question I'd like to ask then, what would you say has been your proudest achievement so far?
Ooh, proudest achievement was actually probably this year.
Okay.
And I think Alex is going to know what it is. Was getting asked by Konami to commentate the World Finals in Tokyo. And I was a kid that grew up in I don't want to say a poor household, but we definitely didn't go on holidays. Holidays,
to Japan of all places.
Holidays for us was let's go camping in Wales or somewhere like that in a tent, in the rain. So to get to go to somewhere like Japan, which I'd never really considered as a real possibility, it was very exciting because obviously it's a big tournament with big prestige, but then you go to somewhere with a completely different culture.
Yeah.
it was amazing. And I think from a personal standpoint, you get to a point in your career where you look back at where you came from, and then you get to see where you are now, and it's like, wow, this video game stuff is actually pretty cool. So I would say probably commentating the World Finals, getting to the pinnacle of eFootball after working on it for about 5 years was amazing, and especially because it was so recent as well. Maybe there's some recency bias there, but I think getting to Japan was sick.
If somebody wants to send me to Japan, I'm also available to go to Japan for any tournament. Japan seems like a great country to visit, so I hear it. Obviously, I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is going to be, but I'll ask the question anyway. What has been your proudest achievement so far?
Well, I think besides the victory and those stuff is somehow to turn that hobby that you cannot spend that much on it into a career, into a life opportunity, and especially the thing to make your parents and your family proud of you, because for example, we are always been struggling to have those holidays, and right after the victory of the World Championship in 2018, we had from a long time ago that memory to not a memory, that opportunity to one day go to the US to all together, and I took all of them. I was like, this is the time to go, and we will finally to make those lovely holidays that we all deserve, and those moments with the family, thanks to these opportunities, are for me the most the most important thing, because we used to travel a lot all alone around the world, and enjoy those moments with your family, with your people close to you. Is the most important.
It's a bit of a flex, isn't it? Like you on holiday, you definitely pull rank in terms of like, oh, what are we doing today? I paid for the holiday, so we're not going to go to Disneyland today.
You know what it is? This is a very well-deserving winner, because I said, what's his proudest moment? He's there saying, oh, I'm making my family happy. They were so proud. Me, I would have been bringing my medals. I'm bringing the trophies. I did all of this.
I mean, that's for your personal ego, but I think because now I'm competing lately, and I prioritize the happiness of my environment rather than myself. Maybe if you ask me this question, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I will drastically come answering the different stuff. But right now it's like that, make them happy, because we need to enjoy the moment, and it's a esport, especially it's been really solitary from my side, because you need to sacrifice a lot.
For sure.
And we have not the budget to have someone next to me traveling with me. So I mean, it has to be by your own most of the time, obviously with some friends to prepare yourself for the competition, for practice, that stuff. But in the meantime, you go to travel, it's just yourself against the world. So sometimes I appreciate to have the family next to me supporting me, because it's very important.
Listen, families are very important. I fully agree with your answer. Obviously, we are here for the FIFAe Fame Your Game Cup. How does it feel to have an organization as big as FIFA now back in eFootball?
It is sick. It's so sick. Just being able to be here in Liverpool, obviously the home of so many great football clubs. Somewhat of a spiritual home for eFootball for me, because it was actually the first tournament for eFootball that I got to commentate was here in Liverpool back in 2019.
Yep. So it's a full circle moment.
Yeah, bit of a homecoming, but to have FIFA involved, seeing the amount of gravitas that comes with a name like FIFA is like next level, because we walk in, we see the stage, we see the lights, and it's bigger, it's better, it's amazing.
Same for you. Is it exciting to have FIFA on board with eFootball?
I mean, at the moment I noticed that for first, I couldn't believe it. It looked like it's a really open scenario for players and users around the world to really have that career in front of them. If they perform now and they are in their actual moment approaching these kind of opportunities, that now, look, I was one of them a few years ago. Now could be the next one having this opportunity. So it's their time. It's their time to shine.
And on that note, I want to know, early predictions already, who do you think is maybe your favorite to win this? Are there anyone that you're seeing and you think, this guy, maybe he's the next one up?
Well, I think there's some countries that are doing things so well in the community to build up the superstars. I would say Indonesia could be my prioritize to bet on it for tomorrow. But we'll see. In front, Thailand, Brazil, always top countries, so everything can happen.
Likewise, who are we looking at as our favourites at the moment?
We're definitely looking at further east, and we're also looking at South America to be the continents really to come through. I'm gonna say someone different. I'm gonna say Thailand. I think Thailand, that Talanasoi, he's proven at big live events in the past that he can get it done. We also have a Japanese representative, Goo Games, who has also won live events. So both of which were at the World Finals last month. So we got some world caliber players here. They could go head to head, and we'll see who comes out on top.
Is there someone that you enjoy watching particularly, like in terms of they may not win every single time, but their style of play, maybe their enthusiasm or celebrations and whatnot?
That's what I like about the mobile side of eFootball, and eFootball in general is a community, but the mobile guys, they get up, they get really animated.
Brazilians maybe, no?
South Americans
have more
very
reaction,
passionate.
more passionate.
They wear their hearts on their sleeves. But in terms of actual gameplay, I'm going to say Gu-san. I think he describes himself as a defensive player, plays 5 at the back, but he'll end up scoring like 3 or 4 goals, which is like in a mobile game.
So the wing backs are the ones that are basically being as wingers, pushing forward like that.
Exactly right. He's got a really unique game plan that if you don't counter it early, he can score 2 very early, and then he can exploit round the back further down the line. So I'm keeping my eye on him.
Okay. Obviously, we know at the moment, as well as Spain winning Euros and Olympics and all these other tournaments, the managers as well, we're seeing obviously Pep, Alonso, Arteta. So your style of play when it comes to eFootball, what kind of guy? Are you more of those like energetic charisma guys, or do you just focus on being meticulous and hard to beat?
I think I would say Xabi Alonso with that high pressure intensity from the very beginning, and then really high automatism of play from the side to join those inside lines. No, I think I really see myself with that game style when I'm playing. Even I'm using Xabi Alonso on my team in the football mobile. So yeah, I understand the game in a similar way. Look, from him on the real football is really working so nice. So I hope also for me on the football mobile.
I hear you. Now, obviously, for those that are watching, maybe you want to try and get to these guys' level, or maybe you want to become a pro at some point. So grab your pen and paper. We're going to get a bit more of a in-depth meta insight into how to improve as a player. Now, obviously, in football games, when you go into a match, you can instantly notice, for me personally, when someone's of a serious level. They might do certain skills, certain passes. What's one thing that you see and straight away you know, okay, I'm playing another pro-level guy?
Well, I think the intensity they put into the game, no, especially on mobile, we will see it tomorrow on the speed of their fingers moving on in the screen, like insane. Yeah. So, I mean, there's many resources that the game offers into the game, but not everybody are really focused into it. But there's some dribbling and stunning shot that are really clear to be one of the most important part into the game. So especially instead to control and then make the trick, first touch, double touch, and then stunning shot, make like that combo. It will be clinical tomorrow. So let's see if the players are able to play at that high speed that they usually do, and will be sensational to watch.
Fair enough. Harry, obviously we don't have the similar sort of Alonsos and whatnot, but over at Spurs you have, I guess, Big Ange and Conte and whatnot. What kind of style of play do you prefer watching?
I like dynamic formations. I like seeing it switch up, because obviously in eFootball you can sometimes have little meta tactics that can switch on the fly. For me, it's the minute differences, like we mentioned earlier. 5 at the back. If you're sitting back, very defensive. But if you get those wing backs up to supplement the wingers, then all of a sudden you're stretching the pitch, and then that's when the holes in the defence kind of get opened up, and then you can see more attacks down the middle. For me, I like watching someone that has a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. I don't want to see someone stick with plan A and then lose 1-0. You've got to be able to change it up, and if you can't do that, then I'm afraid it's going to be curtains at this level. You
would hate watching me play games, because I have plan A, and if plan A is not working, I just press even higher.
Yeah, you're stubborn.
I just go even further and further. So maybe I come back, maybe I don't. So
that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you have, I guess, so you mentioned obviously the 5 back. For you, Alejandro, do you have a certain formation that you have as your favorite, maybe one that won you a lot of games or won you the tournaments, or do you change it depending on the different years?
Well, because the game changes with updates recently each 2-3 months. Each year they have a big update, so you need to readjusting your formation every single time, especially in football mobile rather than on console. The matchup with your opponents is really important. Like if he's playing with the wings, somehow have someone near the wings to make him play comfortable, because in console you can more set your rhythm, your pace, your control, and on mobile it's more like chess game. Even if it's the same gameplay, it's really important to take more attention on your opponent tactics. So as say Harry, it's really important to have a few formation that you feel comfortable, because there is some opponent playing with 5 centre back, some other playing with their left and right forward, or those one that row, for example, with 4 strikers. There's some player that goes tomorrow with 4-2-4, and that will make you, well, I can have the control, yes, but every single time that you lost the ball, he will kill you. So those have a variable opportunity or chances into tactics is really important, but mainly the 4-3-3 is being the most useful normally. But as I said, this is the world best stage.
For sure.
Each one has his own identity playing, so it's difficult to define which one is the best one against all.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It depends on who you're playing, I suppose. So that's fair. Harry, in terms of, obviously, we had the tactical insight and whatnot, skill moves in particular. Let's say I want to come and compete.
Yep.
What are the 3 skill moves you would say that I should lock in and get practice in? The most important.
I've got one that's a skill move and one that's more of like a mechanic.
Okay, yeah, that works too.
So the skill move is probably the most famous one that we've seen. Some games call it la croqueta. In eFootball, it's called the double touch.
Yeah.
So you shift it from one foot and then back on the other. We've
Iniesta.
seen it, exactly, made famous by Iniesta. We've seen it win, international level tournaments. It'd be the difference maker at the very final kick of the game throughout eFootball in the last few years. Since it was introduced as a skill move, I think in around 2019, so around the time I started, it's an absolute killer move. So if you can perfect not only how to do the double touch, but also the timing on it, you can combine it with the second thing, which is stunning inputs. So stunning inputs you'll see throughout eFootball, both on console, on mobile, on all the platforms. Usually when you shoot, you have a green power bar. If you're able to put off a stunning input, stunning strike, stunning pass, adds a bit more zip, a bit more power. Yeah, it might not be as accurate, but if you know the time and you have the space to do it, they can be lethal. They can really slice open a defence or catch a goalkeeper off guard. So if I was going to give you 2, I know you asked for 3.
You can give me 2 if you want.
Maths was never my strong suit. So I'd say it was all those video games growing up. I would say those 2. If you can get those 2 down, you're on the right path.
Fair enough. Again, we've spoken about formation, skills, tactics. You've obviously been to the very top. And to get to the top, you need the mentality.
Well, yes.
So how would you say you deal with setbacks, losses? Were you the kind of guy that you'd be raging or you just watch your games back? How do you deal with the setbacks when you lose?
Well, I think that's the most important. No? We've seen in the history of this game in eSport, like many big talents have won a big championship because, on those moments, you have the pressure, the score is tied, or you're losing by 1 goal, and you need to surprise your opponent, creating something new. That part, not to feel that much pressure, is really tough to deal with. But it's all about the level. It's all about the intensity and how you handle the pressure. We've seen that watching replays in your days is more useful stuff after a defeat, because only the more smart people see where they can improve on it, because there's some player like say, no, I'm really good, I don't care on it, but there is always stuff to improve, like the timings or how to predict what his opponent is going to do, having most replays on his play before. That's really important. No? At the end, I always say that to be the best, you have to be the best player and the best coach. Okay. And when you're talking about that, it means to see replay, to have as much info from your opponent as possible, because sometimes it's a matter of time. It's a matter of timing. If you know that your opponent shoot most of the time, turn to the right and finish shot, and you predict that, you have a mostly gain on your game. So you need to invest a lot of time on replays, get information, seeing streamings, previous tournament from maybe 1 month, 2 months ago, to have some details that at this level it matters.
Fair. Well, there you go. Hopefully you guys were taking notes there, because that was advice free of charge, by the way. So people should be paying for this one. So we're going to end it with some questions that the fans are giving. Quick fire questions. Yep. You can both give one answer, and we'll go back and forth like that. Who is the best footballer you've ever seen live?
Wayne Rooney. Easily. I've seen him play for England. Was lucky enough to, and he was a machine. Definitely. Physically, Wayne Rooney.
No one asked me, but Messi is the answer. I got to watch MSN beat my team Arsenal.
I was like loading because it makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Messi, you know,
you see Messi as well, yeah?
Yeah, so Messi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it whilst you were with Barcelona or just in general?
Especially that day that he left, it was Boateng in his semi-final Champions League.
You were there for that?
I was there.
When Boateng was...
And I think we were like, no words.
Wow, fair enough. Who's the best free kick specialist in real life football of all time?
Juninho Pernambucano. Juninho, the Brazilian.
I like the answer.
Juninho's good.
He wants to go for like a Beckham or a Ward-Prowse.
Ward-Prowse is a shout.
They're not bad shouts.
Ward-Prowse, but I'm actually going to go Ronaldinho.
Okay,
I still remember.
Two very fair answers.
Was it Werder Bremen? He did Under the Wall, and it was like...
Yeah, he's done it multiple times, where he just catches you off guard.
That blew my mind when I saw that.
I still don't know if he meant it against England or not, though. It's still... who knows?
Again, let's move on.
Toughest league to play in?
Oh...
So Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga.
Serie A.
Serie A, yeah?
Serie A, yeah.
Okay. Harry doesn't seem impressed by your answer, so...
The words Farmers League come to... No, I'm just kidding, of course. Premier League, of course.
Fair enough. Coffee or tea?
Actually, more into tea.
Okay.
I'm impressed. As a British
I feel like Harry doesn't really know. He doesn't really know his answers like that. He's surprised.
I was surprised.
Recently, I'm having more experience into Asia stuff.
I like that. It's because I'm rubbing off on you. You're hanging around me too much as a British man. When I was growing up, it was tea. Now it's coffee. Yep.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Summer.
Ooh. So in Spain, maybe because in winter in Spain, it's still like a nice 24, 25 degrees.
Especially because
like
in my hometown, you cannot leave your home in summer. Basically.
It makes sense. It makes sense. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what food will you be eating?
Are we talking like cuisine, or are we talking like...
It can be a meal, it can be a certain food, it can be...
quesadillas. Chicken quesadillas.
Okay.
Meatballs.
Okay. Spanish in particular. Spanish.
Yeah, with some tomato sauce on top.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fairs. Who is the best young talent in football right now?
Lamine Yamal, it's clear.
He's going for Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
Come on. He have no expression on himself. You cannot bet on him.
Listen, one thing he knows, and it's football. That's all he needs to know.
But where he have his summer? In Spain. Because, you know, he's trying to get closer to Lamine Yamal somehow.
Because he's cold. You know? He wants to get warm.
No, Yamal they were both had a good impact on the tournament, to be fair. So fair enough. I can't really argue with that one. What's one place you'd love to visit?
Ooh.
Can't say Japan again because I've already been there, but I want to go back there.
Okay.
I think I'm in between two, South Korea and Komodo Island in Indonesia.
Okay.
Ooh,
interesting. Very unique answers there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Jamaica, just because I've never really been over that way, and I'd like to go somewhere with like nice beach. Yeah. I mean, look at me. I need a tan. Like I'm pasty as anything, so let's go with somewhere with a nice beach. Like
fair enough. It makes sense. What would you say? I saw you doing the little cold Palmer. What's your favorite celebration in football?
I did.
Are we calling that the Ivan Toney? Are we calling that what? Because a few players do that one, isn't it? The Pai does that as well.
It was just...
you just like when people just do that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't hear rubbish thing. Just on me, you know.
Is Cole Palmer your current fave, or you got...
The current favourite, I'd say, yeah. I think
you want to go for a bit of a sun for your Spurs prop?
That's definitely top 5. When I was a kid growing up, when we were playing 5-a-side, if I scored, I would do the Drogba.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what's funny? I feel like when we were younger, we would just do those for rival teams, because I actually used to do Robbie Keane, where he would roll over and then start doing all of that. And obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but I was like, I don't care. That celebration is very cool. Fair enough. Last question then. 5 years time, what are you hoping to achieve? Where do you hope to be?
Well, I think having a solid job into eSport and giving them everything that they gave to me in these previous 10 years. So I will see myself helping the ecosystem in a solid position, maybe in competition or raising new stuff to do, because I think new generation at the next level into eSport, and we haven't seen that level already.
Fair enough. Good answer.
It's a good answer.
Likewise.
It's a tough
How are you going to top that?
It's a tough one to follow.
You have to end the video with this. How are you going to top that?
Let's cut. I'm going to say right where I am. Right where I am right now. Honestly, it's my dream job. I love eFootball. I've loved it since I was a kid. It was one of my first experiences playing back when it was Pro Evolution Soccer. So love commentating, love being around competitive video games. So to be where I am right now. Don't take it for granted. Let's keep it going. 5, 10, 50 years, let's do it.
Fair enough. Two good answers. So there you have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I did. I learned a lot. If you guys did, be sure to like the video. Make sure you follow us on our socials and stay tuned to FIFA.gg for future episodes. In a bit.